Hey everyone! Welcome back to my Let's Play of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. When we last left off, we just started the trial regarding Mr. Natsume's arrest. And I literally just read what it says on the screen. We're about to do our first cross-examination with Inspector Gregson. It's so hard not to call them by the characters they remind me of in Sherlock Holmes. Like, it's almost as difficult as me not saying Sherlock Holmes instead of Sherlock Holmes, but I'm doing my best. So yeah, we're gonna pick up there today. I'm very eager to see how this trial plays out. Thank you guys for your patience. I know my uploads have been a little jank recently. I've had some stuff going on with like work and applying for another master's at school, so I've been a little bit busy. But yeah, we're gonna jump back in, and I hope to have more uploads for you guys for this game in the upcoming days. So let's go in. Oh, I want to say thank you guys for your continued support of the series. If I already said that, my memory is terrible, so I apologize. But you guys are the best. So let's find out about Mr. Natsume's arrest. Oh, we're cross-examining, right. 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. Oh my god, there's like a tickle in my throat. And there was an unusually light fog. No! Oh wait, I pressed the wrong button. No!
Hold it!
A light fog, you say? We're late for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. Now quaint. Yes, well, it's all something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm.
Indeed. The other day, I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
Ugh. Susanna-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. The fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Fact no doubt lamented by your face! What? No, I'm kidding. Damn on him, Ryunosuke! Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused.
Hold it!
Except for, I mean, there had to have been an eyewitness that said that, right? I mean, how are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. Oh, that tickle in my throat. That is correct, ma'am. Snap, crackle, pop! Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will of course call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen... It light lampposts, you bitch! I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Ah! The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime.
Quite! Here in London, for the first time in history,
Doing his voice, I'm just like, Santa, it's your season!
mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Don't tell that to the Kingdom Hearts characters, they don't know. Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. Yeah, no dip. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. In what world do we not cross-examine the witnesses first? It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. It's like, yeah, they saw it. They saw that they were the only two in the alley. Excluding the people who saw it, who were clearly in the alley. Like, it's like, are they not a part of this? Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. He doesn't even say that the victim was stabbed by the accused. He just says the victim was stabbed. Like, that's a sign, isn't it?
Hold it!
From behind, you say?
That's right, as you can see from this print.
Yeah.
Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition. I'm sorry, she's wearing a green coat. It's just silly. Remains in a critical condition? Comatose, no less?
I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's being treated at bots.
Jesus.
Well, like, I'm just suspicious because, like, what if it's someone just pretending to be her? Like, if she's not a real person, like Miss Green, it's such like a, no offense to people whose last name is Green, sounds like such a fake name. And like, maybe she's not really in a coma and she's just pretending. You know what I mean? I don't know why they would want to get this guy in trouble, but there's always that possibility that she's just faking it. Because there's like, they said that the wound wasn't that bad, right? Or like, she didn't bleed all over the pavement. I mean, I guess like when people get stabbed a certain way, sometimes the knife like keeps the blood from spreading, and it's only when you remove it that the blood comes out. But what do I know? I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be.
Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. I can't read.
Luck is on your client's side, it seems. Okay, neither of us are celebrating the fact that this woman's in a coma because we're not bad people like you, Van Zeeks. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid.
I can't be intimidating even if I tried.
The accused ran, I don't need to read that in the voice. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Hold it!
We know that to be true. Mr. Natsume's belongings, I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. It's his books, right? Yeah.
Yes, the 3 books on the floor.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand. Which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. For example. Convenient. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back?
I mean, I feel like that's an assumption, but that must be what happened, my lord, yes. Or not. Hello? Those being a number of old books he just bought, he was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. Yeah. True that. The defendant apparently visits a secondhand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. It's okay, I can look at a map. Bourbon Books, okay. The closest secondhand bookshop to the accused lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Could have gone down Calabash for a little leisurely stroll, we don't know. Oh, I like the top hat. Leighton, is that you? Something like this. The local map's information has been updated in the court record. Street map of the local area, oh yeah, okay. They just added the Bourbon Books, okay.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on its way home from that particular shop.
Mr. Naruhodo? I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being the shop's location, the bookshop's name, or its stock. A receipt from, do I know? Oh, from your books. Yeah, ha. I get it, your. So that's not where he went. Yeah, that's not where he went. The bookshop's name. I didn't remember that. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? Can you add the name of the bookshop to your sentence so I can throw an objection at you? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I need to yell at you. I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector.
Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? I thought he was gonna be like, hi, Inspector, can I have some of your chips, please? Bourbon books. That is not correct, my dear friend.
Objection!
Objection! If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 secondhand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your books? Why, oh, R.E., I presume?
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a secondhand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another secondhand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
Yeah, that's what you get for assuming, bitch! But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in their final analysis.
Objection!
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the straight map here if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. Where is it located? Is it on Calabash? If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Yeah, could that be true? My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. She looks like an anime character. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. It potentially, maybe, definitely, always, maybe, sometimes could be right.
Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment?
Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east. The local map's information is updated, so he could have gone down Calabash. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. I mean, he could have gone either way, right? Like, what's to say he didn't? My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with just witticisms. Such witticisms. I can't. To your future career in the circus. Damn! You put that glass down now or I'll put it down for you. Damn, Susano! I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. But why? Couldn't he have gone the other way?
Yes, thank you, Inspector.
Wait, is Calabash not a road? Like, what? Allow me to reiterate from my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. You're dumb, bitch. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Ah! But wait, doesn't it? Why couldn't he have gone the other way? As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I do suggest you try. What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this for now.
Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Santa number 2. Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up. What? What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but... Okay, am I really going through all this just to point out that there's another road? Like, that feels a little bit, like, on the nose. You know what I mean? No. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel!
Okay, do you have eyes? There's another road. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. Really? When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. Why is this point getting drawn out? Like, this is very obvious to the eye. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that the route is what is commonly referred to as the long way around. Ah. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of the crime.
Objection!
But, yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. Why don't we already start with that? I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. Why did we go through this whole thing then if he already answered this question? Oh my god. It claims he has no recollection. Ah, great. That's right, as I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. God damn it, Natsume. I don't believe this. My client is dumb. Stop bowing, man. I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... Hold it! Oh, Santa. Oh god. Oh, nope. He doesn't care. I agree with no event seeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... We're members of the jury. I'm completely convinced now. Calm down.
Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury
Did I just lose?
to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Ah.
Guilty.
Ah.
Guilty.
Ah.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty!
Oh.
Guilty!
Ah, shit. Wow, that is very well coordinated.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous.
I'm dead. R.I.P. Oh, he's got another glass. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo, pick your face up. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of the scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Huh. Those are the eyes of a quarry not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, Consul. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncle's refusal to throw in his alley. I don't know what you just said, but okay.
Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Because why would he take the other path when this is the right one? I mean, who knows why anyone walks anyway? I don't know. He's also new to the area-ish, so maybe he didn't know. The juror's contentions. Okay. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why can it have only been the victim? Why, it can only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not in winter. So, the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing.
Oh, your books, yes. Nice shop, that. But bourbon books? Huh. No, not worth the visit.
Thank you for your opinion that's not needed in this court of law.
Huh. With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear.
Minus Santa on the end just giving his opinion. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the eyewitnesses, apparently. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. Bribe them! No, I'm kidding.
You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Smack! I just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Just have an argument with the guy on the end about his opinion. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? Admitted what? Oh, right, I could pit them against each other. If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim. That's not exactly true. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? Thank you. Your books, yes. Nice shop. Bourbon books, not worth the visit. Okay, none of these really contradict each other. Already admitted it himself. I mean, if he saw a woman in green collapse, it doesn't mean it was the victim, necessarily. I don't know. I guess I'll press all of them. Excuse me, but aren't you... Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the side of it, anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. Alright, did I give him a deeper voice? And it was all going swimmingly until you started fussing around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Ah, well, you know, water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock... Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Ah, thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. Yeah, he's fine. If he said that a woman in green collapsed, it can only have been the victim. I don't think that's true. You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quite, that's precisely my point. I'm making that too much like the man. Clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman. Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if that's a lie, as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible? Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds? Wow, I don't like you, ma'am, at all. I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well, for her. Yeah, but what about the eyewitnesses? Am I, like, dumb? The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. Well, he's a crazy dude, I don't know. But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. I'm supposed to be convincing you here! I have given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would. Huh. The reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Do I have a reason? I don't know. Local map, book receipt, case file, pavement, east side, reporting officer, perform a single stab, running away, successfully. I mean, I don't know. Poor fellow was attacked from behind. How dreadful. Whatever is the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garadab, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room? I thought we were keeping that a secret, Ryunosuke. The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid. The maid, you understand. She's keeping up that charade? Ugh, this is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean? Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? Oh my goodness me, yes! He's just the sort! What? Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I'd better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing. Oh shit, whoops. Yeah, I don't care about your opinion, old man. I gotta give him like a different voice. Hey, a man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son.
My life's on the line too, so is my family's.
I like the deep voice better for him.
The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk it is.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right. Meerschaum Street it was.
Meerschaum Street? On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. God damn it, why can't anyone read this map? Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now?
Please, sir, it's important.
Tuh, fine, I'll do it then.
Yeah, thank you for trying to save a man's life. No worries, I got it. On the day it happened, I was digging up Meerschaum Street from dawn till dusk. So is that like proof that this one? Pin them against each other, like why he would have gone the other way because they were doing construction?
Objection!
Those 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another.
At odds, counsel. Explain yourself.
Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
Eh, what? I just want to get this done and dusted.
Well, juror number 3.
Oh, me, sir? What do you mean?
Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's being said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road.
Oh, yes, of course.
Wait, what do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way.
So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice.
Yes, I can't do it.
My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes, child.
I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. He looks like Captain America. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Bing bong bing! Innocence! Yeah, love you, Hat Boy. What about you, sir?
Who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in. That's what I say. Haha, get it, dirt.
So, like, why didn't he bring that up earlier? You're just gonna let this happen? Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least, and strengthen our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are actually right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume, we might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Van Zieks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent by whatever means we have at our disposal. Yeah, Vampire Boy.
Thank you, Counsel. On with the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Let's go. Actually, we're gonna stop and do this next time. Oops. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like, no offense to anyone, but like this whole argument about him not taking a street versus taking the, it's just a very, very minor thing that I feel like we shouldn't be arguing. But I mean, I guess in all good conscience, it's like he took the shortcut, obviously, but it's like, what if he didn't? Like, I don't understand. If he like was trying to deliberately lie, you think he would just say he took the long route so he would avoid being on that street. But he says he doesn't remember, so he's not trying to like blatantly lie to us. So I don't know. But whatever. What do I know? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, feel free to leave a like, comment, favorite, or subscribe, whatever you guys are feeling. And until the next time, lights off, dark out.